Several lives were lost and scores of people injured following an unfortunate gas explosion Monday at a filling station in LAFIA, the NASARAWA state capital. Now, several automobiles were also burnt in the INFERNO that was reportedly ignited from gas leakage at the gas section of the fuel station. This certainly is one incident too many, and it also brings to the front burner the proliferation of unregulated depots for the sale of cooking gas across cities in the country. Sale outlets for cooking gas seem to dot every nook and cranny of the metropolis, even in residential and densely populated areas. If Nigeria is to move beyond the cycle of needless deaths and property damage caused by gas explosions, safety regulations must be enforced. So, where are the safety regulators and what safety measures are needed to guard against such unfortunate incidents in the future? This is our focus on Nigeria Today. Welcome to the program. I am Joy Usiagu. Now, to speak to the topic and issues around it, I have in the studio Mohammed Saidu. Mohammed Saidu is the Public Relations Manager, Department of Petroleum Resources, Abuja. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers.
And also with us is Julius Ikpetosin, the Assistant Controller General, FCT Fire Service, that is the Federal Capital Territory Fire Service. You're welcome, and thanks for joining us on the program this evening.
Thank you, yes.
Well, this is not a very delightful one, considering the issue at hand, and I'm talking about the LAFIA incident. Let's start with you, Mohammed. What do you make of that incident in LAFIA?
Well, thank you very much. First and foremost, the LAFIA incident is quite unfortunate, and as a regulator, we sympathize with Nigerians and the families of the deceased, including those that are currently in the hospital. The LAFIA incident, unfortunately, we were there. DPR as a team, 8 members were there. And what we came to discover is that normally gas operations we used to grant approvals or licenses in 2 forms.
But Mohammed, you know what, for the sake of those who did not watch the clip on the news, on NTA or some other channels, let's take a look at one of the reports that we got from LAFIA from our correspondent, Joshua Kibu.
Thank you.
Findings show the explosion is traced to a cylinder left leaking for many days.
I just came to the front to see what happened. About coming, that I heard the sound of the fire. Boom!
I saw about 7 casualties that were removed. We are trying to ascertain, sort of liaise with other stakeholders to get the accurate figure of what was involved on human life and people that are injured.
It was daunting for fire service men to bring the situation under control. Among the dead is 2-year-old, as 40 injured are receiving treatment at the State Premier Health Center. A breakdown of property lost include 9 cars, 2 tricycles and 4 motorcycles. Meanwhile, the Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State, Silas Agara, visited the accident scene and the injured.
We need to save the lives of our people first, then later come back to the nitty-gritty of who needs to do what has been done.
Now, that was a graphic account of the gas explosion incident in LAFIA on Monday. Mohammed, we're already discussing about it. I just wanted you to have a look at that clip, and for our viewers at home who probably hadn't seen the clip before, to have a look at it. You were talking about the incident.
Yeah, exactly. So what DPR did was to first and foremost conduct what we call preliminary report. And our operations controller and 7 safety members were at the scene of the event. Immediately it happened, of course, we were called after the fire service that by a filling station that is directly opposite. This is what is happening, so our men quickly mobilized to site. And the preliminary report suggests that this is an illegal gas plant. Unfortunately, there is no way you can site a gas plant at that particular location where the incident happened.
So why is the plant there?
That's the point I'm coming to. Normally when you are to site a gas plant, you will come to us. And coming to us, there are things you need to bring along with you. First, certificate from fire service that that place is safe. You have to bring certificate from police or clearance from police clearance that yes, there are no encumbrances as to the place. And there are so many other safety measures. And then we'll look at it that that site, first and foremost, is not close to school. It's not close to any public hospital, market, you know, any public whatever. And then the second one is also proximity to either PSCN or NEPA, as we used to call it, line. And then apart from NEPA, we also look at NNPC, you know, pipeline right of way to avoid all this catastrophe. But some people will just go, you wouldn't know, they'll just site a gas plant in the bush. We've sent our men severally, and particularly around FCT. We've been able to see many that we've brought them to book, and in conjunction with the town planning authorities, we've discussed with them, we've had meetings with them, that on no account shall they give approval for anybody to construct either a filling station or a gas plant at a point where it shouldn't be. They should liaise with DPR, because we know, you know, the kind of challenges you will have when you site a gas plant or filling station, you know, at the wrong place. So these are the things we saw there, and discovering that it was an illegal plant. What we quickly do is to now go into it and then do all our findings. And our findings unfortunately revealed that because it is an illegal plant, it didn't go to fire service for clearance, it didn't go to police for clearance, it didn't come to DPR for professional advice to do all the things right.
You see, Mohammed, now innocent family members are bearing the brunt of this. We heard that a 2-year-old was involved, and many others are dead right now. That filling station with the gas station, I'm sure, has been there for a very long time. Now, here is my question. Why must we wait until there is a disaster? Because you just said that findings show that it is illegal. So why was it still sitting there? Isn't there a way of sealing the place off?
Good. Let me correct this impression. First and foremost, it was a filling station, licensed, duly licensed by DPR, filling station. And then somebody went from behind. The gas, look at the clip, the gas plant is not right. It's not like an add-on where you bring a 5-ton skid, keep, and then you sell. That is not the type. Somebody went from behind the filling station, hit something, and was doing an illegal business. I will also inquire. Our men went to the site on 2 occasions. So it is not like it started with the filling station. And they have sealed the place and have given them this thing that come forward so that whatever lapses that are there, or if it is not the right thing, we should do. Unfortunately, before, or rather, they couldn't come forward. We don't have the capacity or the right to demolish. So all we needed to do is to liaise with the town planning authorities, who has the right to go and demolish, you know, such.
All right, let me get to Julius now, because the way it is now, we're beginning to have too much red tapes in the system. I'm beginning to perceive bureaucracy, you know. It is the role of this person to demolish, it is the role of that person. So, Julius, let's hear you about this particular incident.
Yeah, thank you, Joy. No, it's very, very unfortunate to hear this kind of disaster, because I can call it disaster because people are about 18 people lost their lives, and about 30 people, were left with various degrees of injury.
In fact, the reporter said 40.
I don't see. No, the number will be increasing because people that sustain injury at times, some of them will even lose their life in the process. And this one, I just want to condole with the families of the deceased and those that are in the hospital. God will help them. And in this situation, we need to be very, very careful. The way we handle things in this country, it seems as if people don't care much about safety. Because if you care much about safety, you cannot go and just, put a cylinder behind the filling station without getting a proper certification from the necessary authority. Like the DPR and the fire service, we work hand in hand. Before DPR can give an approval for someone to establish a gas plant, there must be an approval from a fire service, which the DPR will work on. This synergy is supposed to, be improved upon. Where people are not, working together, please, we should just improve upon it, and let's work together so that people in life.
Exactly, because if you look at the situation now, and based on what Mohammed has explained, it is because someone within that chain failed. Yes. Somebody who is supposed to go there, cut on that place off, and stop the sale of gas. Now, they said from the report, they said what happened was they had gas that was leaking. Yes. for days, Mohammed, and that probably led to what happened today. Don't we have detectors in stations where maybe you hear like an alarm to say that there's something wrong? Don't we have that anymore?
Definitely those are the things. You know, our system as of today, although for filling stations and so many other the production platforms, we've been able to come up with what we call national production monitoring system, where whatever you do at that particular moment will have a first-hand information. But as for filling stations, you know how scattered and how proliferated they are. So that we are still working on, that whatever that, even to dispense your product, very soon as you are dispensing, we are monitoring. But I'm really sorry, we are yet to be there. But then...
Why are we yet to be there? What is the problem?
This has to be electronic, purely. It's electronic. And the system, something that has to do with a soft system. We move, initially, even to license these filling stations, everything we are doing manually. As of today, we've gone, digital, we've gone electronic. And that's what we want to do with all the filling stations too. Every filling station in the nearest issue, if you get there, just like what happens abroad, you may be able to serve yourself. And as you are touching the nozzle, it's reporting whatever activity at the DPR, computer center. Like I've said.
Is that where we're going?
That is what we are going, and that is what we are hoping to achieve.
And how far have we gone with that process?
Right now, it's still at the preliminary stage. What I mean by preliminary stage, we do it in phases. First, we've brought all the filling stations now to do everything electronically, which means we have all their records, we have all their data, we have everything. And from there now, we go to the next stage, which is now to digital all the pumps. You cannot do it with these manual pumps. That is one thing. There are specific pumps designed, to accept those kind of whatever, which you will have SIM inside and every other thing. Most of our filling stations, they don't have that yet. So we are still discussing with the marketers, discussing with all stakeholders to make sure that we move away from all this manual system of operations to now the digital form. But coming specific...
But how long will that take before the process of implementation?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be definite, but like I told you, it's in phases. We have finished phase 1, we are now going into phase 2, and I can assure you, with the cooperation of the stakeholders, it is not something that one person will just come and announce that do it this way. There will be some resistance, Nigeria. But we need the buy-in, the cooperation of all stakeholders. Then I'm sure like we've put phase 1 behind us. Very soon, phase 2 will be in place, which, like I've said, is the digitalization of all the...
Now, talking about stakeholders, carry us along. We want to be your watchdog.
For sure.
So we can follow.
For sure, NTA is our #1 stakeholder. Okay, there's no way the world will know what we are doing without you. So we must commend you and we must thank you. You're always there with us.
Let me take a break from you and go to Julius. With what happened, these are areas where we know that your own work comes to play. Yes. When there is this kind of disaster or incident. How often do you get calls about issues like this one, like what happened in NASARAWA?
It's not frequent. It's not frequent like other residential fire or business premises fire. But here, we just have to do some inspection, fire risk assessment before you can establish, because you can establish a gas plant. You need to go to fire service. You will carry out fire risk assessment of that place. Is it close to residential building? Is it close to where people are selling things like somebody roasting corns? No, anything can lead to fire outbreak around that place. So you have to keep some distance. Where you have to have this gas plant, there are certain fire defense equipment you need to put in place.
But will you agree with me that even within the Federal Capital Territory, there are so many of these gas stations near the market, near the car parks? We see them everywhere.
Yes, in fact, we too, we are worried, concerning this. I've instructed my enforcement unit to be moving around now. No, the best thing is to probably relocate them to a specific place where, we'll be able to pay so much attention to them. If they are in a place, at least with that, we'll be able to monitor them, carry out necessary fire risk assessment, and where they don't have a fire defense equipment, we recommend for them. And if you refuse, the Act gave us the power to seal up any business premises that are adhering to our recommendations. And
so beyond lip service, how long will it take to relocate this? Because I see them around, they're everywhere. Yeah, this is just for the Federal Capital Territory. You can imagine, even I'm talking about within Abuja Metropolis.
Yes.
If you go to the satellite areas, places like LAFIA where this happened. I
want to assure you that the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council is working, seriously to, relocate this gas retail sellers. No, if it is gas plant, that one you can monitor it. For example, with gas plant, like about this 5 tons, you must have water there always. With this sprinklers system that will be, spraying the cylinder. This cylinder, when it gets to its ignition temperature, it can ignite. But to avoid this one, you have to, be cooling the cylinder 24/7. But where you have all these retail sellers everywhere, what we don't have plants. Some of them we just use a 50 kg cylinder, and they will, when people come, they will just be selling from there. So, and this thing has to be controlled. So
here is my next question.
Yeah.
What is the time frame for this relocation? I'm saying this because we are now stakeholders and we want to follow up.
Okay, thank you very much. I can't give the time frame now, but I want to assure you that we work together. Fire Service 2 is under Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, and we work together with urban affairs so that we make sure that this thing will carry out within few months. You too, you will know what we have done, and we will carry you along.
So let's talk about your enforcement unit, and this goes to both of you gentlemen. Yes. How effective, how efficient is your enforcement unit? How many violators have you punished? Let's start with you, Julius.
Thank you very much. Like I said the other time, Nigerians, people don't care much about safety, and where need be, you have to use force. Well, first of all, we have procedure for doing things. You can't just go to a place and say you want to seal up that place. No, there are procedures. When you carry out fire risk assessment, after some time, you tell them these are the things that you need to do. You give them recommendation. Then after a few months, we go back there to ascertain whether that recommendation have been carried out. And if they have not carried out, we send a reminder letter to them. After a few years, we'll go back there again before we can seal up that business premises. But
so now, how many have you sealed up? Because I know there are defaulters.
Yes, there are defaulters.
So how many have you sealed up, sir?
For gas plants, we have not sealed up any gas plant. But filling stations, we have sealed up about 4 or 5 filling stations that are adhering to fire safety code. So but now, what we need to do, we need serious sensitization for these people, because even we are even planning to invite.
When you say sensitization, for who? The people who, the operators?
No. To the operators, to these retailers, these gas plant operators. We want to invite them to our office. Then we have meeting with them. We sensitize them. These are the things that you need to do, and these are the things you need to put in place. If that relocation, that we tell them what we are intend to do to relocate them, to a certain area. Then with that, we hear their own view too. If there are other suggestions, then we look at it. Then we work hand in hand with the urban affairs in the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council. Then we'll be able to give all these things.
Well, I hope what happened in LAFIA will be a call to action so that you can speed up the process quickly, so we don't have a repeat of what happened. Let's go to Mohammed. Let's hear about your enforcement agency. How effective is it, and what have you done so far?
Well, thank you very much. DPR itself is an enforcement agency. It's a regulatory agency. So we have, for this purpose, we have a dedicated gas unit. It's a unit that handles purely gas. And what they have done as a unit, first, the people they are scattered, you will know who is who. They operate behind the scene. So we have to do so many things, to see how to remove, to unveil, the operators. So we succeeded in even bringing them together as a union and started, as a team, and started having discussions with them. It was only then we were able, using informants, to know that, okay, there is a place around Soso area in Garki. By the time you go to that former AP Total, there is a place there. So we now invited the civil defense and the police. Certainly they have assisted us seriously in going around the FCT after we have identified those spots, and to some large extent they have been able to clear them. Those that have refused to move, we've also had discussions with the development control, that is the town planning in the FCT. We've had meetings with the director, and we've shared concerns and how they will be able to now specifically get specific areas in their planning that, okay, this area can be reserved for gas plants. So place can be for a filling station. And in doing that, they will also take us into consideration where we both agree. That has seriously helped and is beginning to reduce, those illegal sellers around town. But for places like NIPCO, gas plant, which is registered, which is recognized, that obeys our standard operating procedure, because DPR has developed a standard operating procedure for the gas plants, and you must obey. DPR has to approve it before you operate. So all those ones that come to DPR, thank God, none has been able to register any accident.
All right, Mohammed, there are some pertinent questions that I would like to ask you. Time is not on our side, but we just hope that you speed up the implementation process because what I hear you say now, it's interesting. We just hope that you speed up the implementation so we don't have a reoccurrence like what happened in LAFIA.
We are going to do that.
Okay, so now let's go to those of us like you and I who go to purchase this gas, in terms of education, how to handle. Some people will tell you, when you're going to buy gas, don't put the cylinder in the boot. Put it behind the back seat and let it stand. All that. Tell us, what do we need to know as individuals who go to buy gas from these people? Where should we go? Should we go to the right places? Where are these right places?
First and foremost, as an individual, we discourage people buying gas from all these illegal retailers, because what they do, they will get a bottle of 12.5 kg, for example, and decant 50 or 70%, and then put the others. So first and foremost, by buying a bottle from them, you are cheating yourself. But coming to the safety, each and all the plants will make sure that if you are going to a plant to buy a cylinder, you cannot drive in with your vehicle. If you must drive in, then there's what we call this fire spark arrestor. You have to put it on your exhaust, on the exhaust pipe. Then with that, even if you drive in, should there be any whatever, that spark arrestor will arrest the spark, and it won't affect.
But is it okay to put your cylinder in the boot?
Well, putting the cylinder in the boot or not, there are so many sides to it. There are so many sides to it. Why people will not want to put cylinder in the boot? You know, it shakes. The cylinder, as you move, it moves, it shakes. And any liquid or gas, that action can generate anything. And in the process, you may forget something metallic also in the boot. I'm just giving an example. And that could also cause spark. So it may have a lot of, danger associated with keeping your cylinder in the boot.
So, but the cylinders, do they have expiry dates?
Of course, all cylinders have expiry dates.
How can people identify that?
It's written on the, what do you call it, on the body of the cylinder. You will see it clearly written. So if your cylinder expires, the first thing we do, even as we visit plants, we've educated the plant operators. If somebody brings cylinder to buy this, check. Once it is expired, do not sell into such cylinder, because it's a call for disaster. So these are the things, I mean, particularly the sellers, we do educate them. And I want to use this opportunity also to inform Nigerians that come this November, we fix a date. We are bringing all stakeholders of all these gas plant owners, gas users, everybody under one roof to discuss how we are going to, handle this issue. That has been fixed already.
All right. This is where we'll leave the conversation, and I'm sure you found this particular edition informative, and you must have taken one or two things away from it. We want to thank Mohammed Saidu, the Public Relations Manager, Department of Petroleum Resources, Abuja. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Joy,
quite
and
informative.
Thank you,
And we also want to thank Julius Okpetusin, the Assistant Controller General, Federal Capital Territory Fire Service. We appreciate you, and we thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And that's our package this evening on Nigeria Today. Join us again tomorrow for another interesting conversation. Till then, I am Joy Osiago, thanking you for staying with us.